system, and federal rules require that children get the transplants first. They are also saying that of the 14 adult Utahns who've received transplants under Medicaid, only one of them has survived. Public comment on the issue will be taken through June 24th. Emily.
There is another chapter to the story, one we've been hoping to report for a long time. Jane Ann Lee, a young mother dying of leukemia, is just weeks away from getting a life-saving bone marrow transplant. Even though she's older than 21, her application to Medicaid was made before the July cutoff date. When we introduced you to Jane Ann last November, Medicaid had refused to pay for the search to find a marrow donor. Well, Utah responded to her plight and donated enough money to pay for that search. Cindy Burns has today's good news.
My face. Is it Stevie's face? You make a sad face.
Jane Ann Lee has come a long way in the last 6 months. When she was diagnosed with leukemia last year and learned Medicaid wouldn't pay to find a donor, she refused to accept what amounted to a death sentence. She swallowed her pride and asked the public for help.
I was scared to death. I didn't admit it to many people, but I really didn't know how to cope with anything, and I was kind of casting around for ways to cope.
And you helped her cope. In 6 months, the Utahns have donated $15,000 to fund the donor search. And this week, doctors located a perfect match. Jane Ann's pastor spearheaded the fund drive.
We were able to start searching for a donor while this was still in its infancy in Jane Ann's situation. And that's why we have a potential donor in the wings today. So Jane Ann's been especially fortunate because of the people's support.
If the transplant is successful, that support will give Jane Ann precious time to raise her 2-year-old daughter. A few months ago, Jane Ann thought she'd have to plan her own funeral and find Stevie a new family. Now, though,
I'm actually looking to what I want to do after the transplant now, and the way things are going now, I think we'll have a long future together.
Cindy Burns, KTVX 4 News.
Jane Ann's doctors say that since she was able to find a donor so quickly, her chances for long-term survival are better than 80%. The transplant could take place as early as August. Phil?
Well, that's great news, isn't it? Here's another piece of good news. Last January, we brought you the story of Charlie Stockdale, the 22-year-old Salt Lake man who was in desperate need of a heart-lung transplant. Well, last night, Charlie got what he called his second lease on life. Doctors performed a lung transplant on the cystic fibrosis patient. And there's even more good news. Physicians at the St. Louis hospital where the operation was performed have decided that Charlie will be able to keep his own heart. Get well soon.
You know, transplants aren't the answer to everything. They're not a happily ever after automatically, but it sure is good to hear. Yeah. When the KTVX News continues, what's the favorite learning period for some school students?
Well, the answer is surprising, really. Lunch. Our homeless shelter in Ogden. But the official groundbreaking ceremony only took place today. The new St. Anne's Center will replace the old St. Anne's homeless shelter. It will house 75 men and 20 women and should be open within a few months.
The University of Utah is seeing green today thanks to some new homemade visual technology. The university's received a $14.6 million grant from the National Science Foundation. The university's developed a new computer graphics system which aids doctors and architects. In addition, the state has also pledged to donate $500,000 to this project over the next 5 years. Usually, lunchtime for school children means a break from learning. Well, now the Parent-Teacher Association at Mount Ogden Middle School has come up with a unique way to disguise learning during lunch. A couple of times a month, they invite artists to the school. As Debbie Dujanovic found out today, these performers never want for an audience.
What is it that has captured these students' undivided attention? Believe it or not, a doll maker.
That means that every little roll of lace had to be hand sewn.
This is not class time, it's lunchtime at Mount Ogden. Students aren't required to be here, they want to be here.
I think sometimes we go through school and we never realize all the different options that there are in the arts.
Thanks to the PTA, students are learning the arts outside the classroom. Whether it's a lesson in doll making or a moment with a musician, these lunchtime events attract dozens of students, most of those boys.
That was a surprise. I thought, well, you know, you in your gender thinking, you think that perhaps girls would be more tolerant of this, but surprisingly, boys have been wonderful audience participants.
I just like knowing what other people can do and what their talents are, and just get a few points, see if I can do things.
And there are a lot of things to learn. Today, a doll maker. Last month, a pianist. Before that, dancers. The program seems to be a hit, and so it will continue next year. Debbie Dujanovic, KTVX 4 News, Ogden.
I wonder if all the interest with those kids, if they ever got around to lunch.
Get to next period and be hungry.
Coming up when we come back, it's been looking a little ominous out there.
Is there some nasty weather on the way? Well, Clayton's on the way. Up next.
In Blockbuster Video's $20 million win in the Flash game. Rent more movies, win more prizes. Up to $100,000. Or trips to Universal Studios Florida where you can ride the movies like King Kong or Back to the Future. The Ride, a time-traveling adventure that spans millions of years. Plus delicious extras from Pizza Hut. They're making it great. So play today. Blockbuster Video. Wow.
If you're looking for selection, quality, and the best price, it's in the bag at your neighborhood Associated Food Store. Now's a great time to buy Fiddle Faddle and Screaming Yellow Zonkers popcorn snacks. Buy one 12.5 or 16-ounce can for just $2.49 and get a second one free. Save when you buy the rich, smooth taste of Shed's Country Crock Spread. A 3-pound tub is just $1.79. And serve your family the real fruit taste of Sunny Delight and Sunset Fruit Beverages for just $1.09. Visit your friends at Best Way, Weinigers, and Macy's.
The other day I get in my car, it won't start. No small problem, right? Well, I figure it's the battery, so I go down to the AutoZone and I tell him what I need. The guy says to me, let's check your old one first. It might not be the problem. Turns out he was right. All I needed was a new battery cable. Talk about saving money. Now you tell me, would another parts store done that? They made sure I got exactly what I needed. Now I'll remember that. Believe me, I will.
Last weekend along the Wasatch Front, butterflies by the millions came flying into town. I mean, they were all over the place. Both Saturday and Sunday, they just fluttered through the yards. Kind of pretty, but you wonder, what are they doing? They're all going north, even fighting a headwind. They were northward bound. Well, thanks to our viewers, we've been tracking these butterflies, and it looks like they started somewhere along the Mexican border in the latter part of April. They've just been working their way north. They've been seen as far over as Eureka, Nevada. Been seen as far east as Grand Junction, and Dick Jones Trucking said they ran into millions of them about 2 days ago between Powell and Billings, Montana. So these butterflies have gone almost from the Mexican border to the Canadian border, and as far as I know, they are still blasting northward. Now, let's talk about tornado tales. All of these stories we've told in the last couple of weeks, they are true stories. Some of them are weird, some of them are unbelievable, but they are true stories. Tonight's tornado tale comes from Boonville, New York. May 2nd, 1983, it was nighttime, it was dark. The intensity, it was kind of a small tornado. It was an F2 on the 5-point scale, but it was enough that 200 homes were damaged by this thing, and then it approached the Boonville police station. All of a sudden, the wind blew and the wind flew and the bricks started flying, and only the toilet bowl was left in the whole fire station. I mean, it wiped the whole thing clean, so to speak. Let's check temperatures up and down the Wasatch Front. 50 compared to a 70 average, 20 colder than usual. And look at the rainfall. These are 24-hour figures. In the last 2 days, 1/2 to 1 inch of rain has been common. It started in the first week of March. It's unbelievable. Since the first week of March, it has just stormed and stormed. Mountains, Alta, Snowbird, 6 inches of new snow, and it's still snowing. Flaming Gorge had wind. Vernal had 71. Moab was 80, but on the western side, it was kind of cold and cloudy and wet. 42 right now. The barometer is rising ever so slightly. Winds are southeast. A little batch of rain has just finished moving by, and we're kind of in a holding pattern right now. Look at the satellite picture. You can see where it's coming from. The low is like this. Here's this morning's surge. Here comes this evening's surge. And look at these things. Whoa, these are monster thunderstorms with huge hail. Well, by tomorrow, it looks like the main action will be along the Wasatch Front and northward. Then on Mother's Day, this stuff kind of moves over, and clearing sets in late, but there's the next one. Here's the forecast. Eastern Utah, some rain and snow in the mountains, scattered showers, basically kind of benign. But on the western side, not steady rain, but intermittent showers, morning and then again afternoon. How about the 5-day forecast? St. George. Oh, nearly 90. Then it kind of levels off a little bit, but stays pretty dry. Along the Wasatch Front, we have some rain tomorrow, and I wouldn't be surprised if Mother's Day morning it was raining, but by afternoon, the barbecue ought to crank up and the sun will be out and it looks pretty good. Monday, that's the day you want to take the day off. 75 and sunny, then it kind of goes downhill as more showers and some rain heads back. Well, today, Len Randolph headed to Woodrow Wilson Elementary School with Weather School. Taught the kids some great lessons about temperatures and how much it can change in a short time.
And Monday, there'll be a barbecue at your house.
Sounds fun,
doesn't it?
Well, I'd like to feel 90, wouldn't you?
Tornado Tidy Bowl, huh?
That's
all right.
That's good.
Hey, have you bought your mom a Mother's Day present yet? If you haven't, there's still time. Find out some gift ideas next.
Rediscover America with Jeep. The 50th anniversary Jeep sale with discounts and cash back on Jeep Cherokee. Big savings on Jeep Wrangler. Factory to dealer incentives can save you even more. The 50th anniversary Jeep sale. Don't miss it.
See your Utah Jeep and Eagle dealer, where you can always expect the best.
Tengo un gran guitarro, tengo también un violín para alegrarte el corazón. Vámonos para mi fiesta, vámonos.
There's a fiesta of values now at your neighborhood IGA stores.
This is a video copy machine. With the touch of a button, it can copy your favorite videotapes. Yay! This is a copy machine. With the touch of a button, it copies your favorite papers. Now come on, which would you rather have in your house? The video copy machine is a lot more fun and it copies videos.
See the video copy machine from Go Video at R.C. Willey.
What do I do for a living? It's pretty simple. I'm a painter and a locksmith. I'm a gardener, a plumber, and your interior decorator. I'm a carpenter, an electrician, and a troubleshooter. What do I do for a living? I own a True Value hardware store. You can do it with True Value hardware stores.
You are a wonderful mother, dear sweet mother of mine,
KSL Radio sent out a singing telegram to mothers and their listening audience tonight. And what better way than with the Barbershop Quartet? The Solairs here will be handling similar chores in person throughout this Mother's Day weekend.
You don't have much time left to buy a gift for your mom. Mother's Day is on Sunday. News specialist Robert Wall shows us a few ideas for that hard-to-buy-for woman.
For most, flowers, candy, and a card are enough. But some think Mom deserves more.
So, like if your mom is a real camping outdoors fiend.
This store in Trolley Square offers unique gifts for the mother in your life and claims Mother's Day is the second only to Christmas for customer spending.
Because people seem to really want to come out and spend more on Mother's Day and Father's Day rather than on birthdays. So it ranks higher.
Knickknacks get dusty on the shelf, and some moms prefer something they can use for more than one day. Like this portable shower, for example, or a foot massager, or perhaps this gadget to imprint her name on her golf balls.
It'll have your initials on it.
And your mom already has one of those?
She already has one of those.
If your mom wants her back rubbed, this massage recliner chair will do the trick. It's guaranteed to remove the pain in her neck, But for $2,000, it might add some to yours.
You know, she doesn't want makeup. She doesn't want brushes. She likes to do outdoor things. So it's kind of hard. She has a lot of everything already, and I want to get her just the right gift.
If you don't find it here, don't give up. Signs that say Mother's Day Special are blooming like tulips in all kinds of stores. I guess some moms don't like candy and prefer their flowers in the wild. The big item at this store's Mother's Day sale is cast iron cookware.
They use that for their barbecues and for camping, and just about anything that you would want to use cast iron for.
Some women might like this change from the sentimental to the practical, but who knows how far it could go. Robert Walls, Eyewitness News, Salt Lake City.
And Carol doesn't want the cast iron skillet.
No, something more
I don't blame her.
romantic.
Yeah, that's not too romantic. Here, cook me up some bacon and some beans.
I know.
Yeah. I like to have that chair, and Father's Day's just around the corner, you know.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind.
Well, the NBA playoffs roll right along. They could probably use one of those massage chairs.
The
Drop-off.
Jazz could use one of those right about now. The Sixers, just like the Jazz, happy to be home. Game 3 against the Bulls, straight ahead on Sports.
Jerry Seiner Salt Lake has hundreds of trucks, Mitsubishi and Chevy trucks. Trucks priced no higher than 1% over factory invoice. Trucks priced at $69.95. Trucks with interest rates as low as 4.8%. Where would you go for trucks?
If you want a good deal, go to Jerry Seiner.
They've got the best dealership in town.
And to Jerry Seiner.
We make it easy to drive a hard truck bargain at Jerry Seiner Salt Lake. Exit 9th West at 21st South.
Always lead to Jerry Seiner Chevrolet.
Jimmy, did you know your daddy is planning for your future? He just bought a Toro GTS.
The swell. The Buckhorn Wash is the San Rafael's Main Street. Along the way, check under the rock for a dinosaur footprint.
Why do you put the rock on it?
Just to protect it, I guess.
This is all chipped out.
The guidebook pinpoints panels of pecked petroglyphs and painted pictograms, much of which has been scarred by more recent visitors.
When was this bridge built?
It says right there, 1937 or something like that by the CCs.
The historic swinging bridge, soon to be replaced by a concrete slab, is the only way to cross the San Rafael River and gain access to a primitive BLM campground with water. Nearby, pioneer attempts to tame the swell stand in silence, dwarfed by the forces which have kept this place wild. Man remains little more than an image.
Boy, this is spectacular here.
The centerpiece may be the Black Box, a steep gorge carved straight down into some of the oldest exposed rock in the swell.
That's a desert varnish. It's formed by the rain washing down over the sides and the minerals leaching out into it.
It is a rugged place, yet still fragile. About a quarter of the swell has been recommended for wilderness, and some folks still envision a San Rafael National Park. Politics will determine the management direction, but nature will likely rule the San Rafael.
Brought back a lot of memories and made some new ones.
The girls started primping early, a little teasing on the hair, a spell under the dryer, even a last-minute perm. All this fuss, for what reason?
You making her sexy? Yeah, make her sexy. Sexy? You mean sexy? Just make me beautiful.
After all, in just a few hours, it will be prom night.
I'm a good-looking woman for my age.
Well, this young man thought so. He asked Grace Headley to cut a rug. 30 kids from Bonneville High School helped put on this prom night at Manor Care Nursing Home. And when they came, well, they helped roll back the years for many residents, like this gentleman who hasn't been dancing in ages.
I don't remember when I was a little boy.
Some couples had to improvise, and some of the younger folks, well, they had to learn a few steps from the more experienced dancers.
I don't think I've heard too much of this, but it's really easy to dance to, and they help you out a little bit and stuff. It's different, but it's nice. I like it.
Like at any dance, a few sat on the sidelines, either waiting to be asked or just enjoying the scenery. But even the wallflowers seemed to have a good time.
When you get people together and they're happy, and especially old people, it will be very nice.
Does this bring back memories?
Hell, after 45 years, you damn right.
Memories that will last long after the music's over. Elizabeth Renshaw, Eyewitness News, South Ogden.
Well, take your hats off to the kids at Bonneville High, huh?
Oh, that was adorable.
You got a date to the prom yet?
I don't, Richard. Where are you at?
Some from out of state kicked up their heels tonight. They're all part of the Partner Swinging Associated Square Dance Clubs of Utah. There are about 25 or more clubs in Utah alone, and after this warm-up of sorts, they'll all be back in June at the Salt Palace for the Nationals.
And if you want to see more of that, they'll be back at the Galleria tomorrow night.
Fun. That's our report for now. Thanks for joining us. Have a good weekend.
Good night.